welcome to this session for beginners. It's going to be a nice easy session to get you introduced to Pilates if you're not used to doing it. I'm going to offer different levels for those of you that want to challenge yourself a bit more, but otherwise you can keep it simple, keep it easy and just enjoy. So feet hip distance apart to start. We're nice and soft through the knees. And we're going to start to think about a piece of string coming from the bottom all the way up through the spine and out the top of the head. And we just want to imagine that piece of string pulling us up towards the ceiling. And while we do that, we're going to think about lifting the rib cage, just opening out across the collarbone. And once we're there, we're going to maintain that lovely length through the spine and just tip and tilt the pelvis. So we're going to tuck the tailbone under and then take it out behind. And we're just going to do that a couple of times. Find the range of movement. And then we want to settle somewhere in between. So we want to settle where the tailbone's pointing down towards the floor. We've got a soft arch through the lower back. We're not sinking forwards or tucking under too far. So tailbone down, leave that length through the spine. And then we're just going to think about our breath for a moment. In Pilates, we come in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as we come in through the nose, we're looking to try and extend the rib cage, so spreading the rib cage wide as we inhale, and as we exhale, allowing the ribs to sink back in. And the reason we want to go wide into the rib cage is we don't want to take the breath down deep into the tummy, because we don't want to interfere with that core connection that we're going to create in a moment. So nice big breaths, expanding the rib cage out wide, and then exhaling, allowing the breath to escape them through the mouth. And again, big breath in and out. Good. Keeping that breath pattern going, we're just going to start to think about connecting our core. So we want to imagine we've got a hipster belt coming across the hip bones and down across the lower abdominals. We're going to take that breath in through the nose. But before we exhale, we're going to pull everything in. So we're going to tighten that belt as tight as it will go. So imagine it's a 10-notch belt. You're going all the way to the 10th notch. And then you're going to release it completely as you exhale. So completely let the belt go, relax. Don't push it out, just letting it relax. And again, coming in through the nose. This time though, you're just going to go halfway, so just to the 5th notch on that belt. But again, we're going to release it completely as you exhale. And then we're going to come in through the nose again. But this time just pull in a 1/3 of the way. So 3rd notch on that belt, quite light. But this time you're going to try and hold on to it as you breathe out over the top. So letting the breath go, but holding on gently to that belt. And that's what we're going to try and maintain it. And I'll give you little reminders as we go through the session. But just pulling in just to your 3rd notch is absolutely fine. That's enough to stabilise your spine, but not so strong that you can't move or, more importantly, breathe over the top. So keeping that connection, we're going to take the hands to the shoulders and we're just going to start to circle the elbows. So bringing the arms up in front and then around. As you start to loosen up, we're going to try and make those a little bit bigger. So we're going to start to try and bring the elbows to touch in front. And then as we go behind, we're going to scoop it past the ears, try and get the backs of the hands to touch behind you and then open wide. So we tap in front. Backs of the hands touch and then wide. As you do this, you want to stay nice and still through the spine. So we're not curling forwards to get the hands behind us. We're staying nice and lifted. Tailbone down towards the floor, so we're not pushing the tummy out. Good. Couple more like this. And around. Good. Now going back the other way, so taking the arms out, back, and around. Backs of the hands touch if you can, elbows touch and then down. Keeping the breath going, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Keeping that gentle connection on the lower abdominals. We've got 2 more. And last one. Good, bringing the arms down, release them to the sides. This time when we inhale, we're going to sweep them up, and then we're going to exhale out and wide. Again, keeping the spine nice and still, so tailbone down towards the floor, not starting to push the tummy out. Good, one more time like this. Inhaling up, exhaling out, sweeping the hands all the way around, placing them in the small of your back now. So we're going to use the hands to help us keep the pelvis nice and still, hip bones facing forwards. And we're going to twist towards one elbow. So pull that elbow back and then come to centre. Pull the other elbow back and come to centre. So we're going to rotate through this upper half of the body, rotating the rib cage and then coming back. Like I say, use your hands to help your pelvis stay nice and still, hip bones facing forwards. What you don't want is the pelvis to twist with you. Okay, you want the rotation to come from here. Twist and back. We've got a couple more. Keep that length through the spine. So think about lifting up through the crown of the head, up towards the ceiling. We've got one more to each side after this. Rotate round. Back last time. Coming back. Releasing the arms down. We're going to slide the hands down towards the knee. One way. And then come back to centre. Try as you do this not to push the hips out the other opposite direction. Keep them sitting over the knees and ankles. And back. Good. Reach down, stretch. Now engage these muscles down the side and just pull yourself back up. So we slide down, engage and pull back up. We're going to add the trailing arm now. So we're going to come down, sweep the arm up and over, deepen that stretch. And again, engage these muscles, pull yourself back up. Let's go the other way down, sweep the arm over, and then come back. Good, slide down, reach up and over, and then draw back. Last time, coming over, stretching, and then coming back. From there, we're going to take the weight back into the heels, and we're going to come down into a little squat. Press through the heels, squeeze the bottom and come up. So from the side, we stay nice and tall through the spine. We're not hunching over as we come down. Squeeze the bottom and press into the heels as we come up. Down, squeeze the bottom. So keeping that gentle connection on the lower abdominals. Just making sure that as we come down, the knees are staying out over the feet. We're not allowing them to roll in or out. We're going to do 5 more. 5, press into the heels, come up. And 4. Remember, lift the crown of the head nice and tall through the spine the whole time. Don't let yourself fall forwards. Weight goes back. Now the next time we come down, we're going to start to shift the weight. So we're going to come down into that squat and we're going to lift the heel on this left side. Now we're going to press into the right heel and rise up. So we're using this buttock to drive us up. Heels down, come into the squat, lift the right heel. Now squeeze this bottom and drive yourself up. The reason we're doing this is going to really help us with our single leg work in a moment. So lift the heel, squeeze and come up. So I'm keeping the toe really light on this side, squeezing this bottom, driving up. Good. Down, lift the heel, squeeze and come up. Good, now you can stay with just leaving the toe down, or you can lift the foot and hover it off the floor and then drive up. So come down with both feet, lift just the heel or the whole foot, squeeze the bottom and come up. Good, down, heel lift or the whole foot, squeeze and up. Down, squeeze and up. The important thing with this is we keep a nice stillness through the pelvis. You don't want to be hitching on one leg. Try and keep the hip bones level the whole time. Down, hip bones level, squeeze and up. Good, we've got one more to each side. Lift, squeeze and up. Good, last time. Down, lift, squeeze and up. Good, now we're going to keep the knee up, or if you need to, keep the toe on the mat. We're going to start to extend out to the side. So your options are here, out, and then back, or you've got the toe on the floor and you slide it out to the side and then back. We're going to do 10. We're going to take it out for 10, and 9, and 8. Remember, on this supporting side, you want hip, knee and ankle in alignment. 7, 6, nice and tall through the crown of the head. Gentle engagement through those lower abdominals. We've got 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. Come back up. Take it down into a squat. Lift just the heel or the whole foot. Drive up. And then again, out to the side. Remember, you've got your option of having the toe on the mat and just sliding it out, bringing it back, or the knees up. Good, we're going to do 10 on this side. So we've got 8. Remember, hip, knee and ankle in alignment on this side. Nice and soft through the supporting knee. Crown of the head lifting, lower abdominals engaged. We've got 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it back. Bring the arms and leg down. Shake it off. Lovely. We're going to come to the end of the mat now. We're going to come to the floor, but we're going to do it with a roll down, so just mobilising through the spine. So feet hip distance apart, nice and tall through the crown of the head, and then we nod the chin and roll the shoulders. Curl through the upper back. Take it down into the lower back. Let the crown of the head sink down. Let the arms reach towards the floor as you peel through the rest of the spine. Down to the mat, where you're gently going to re-engage those lower abdominals if they've switched off. And we're going to slowly rebuild. So almost like building blocks. You're going to put one vertebrae at a time back on top of the other, until you get all the way up, where you're going to roll the shoulders back and down again. Open out the collarbone. Lift the crown of the head. We're going to do that again. Nod the chin. Roll the shoulders. Come down through the spine. All the way to the floor. Gently engage those lower abdominals. We've got 1 more. Curling back up. Rebuilding the spine slowly. Making sure you come nice and tall at the top, open back out across the collarbone. We're going to come to the floor now, so we're going to come down through the spine. Crown of the head coming down. This time rest your hands, so if you can touch the floor, great, but otherwise on your shins or your thighs is absolutely fine. We're going to start to straighten the right leg and soften the left knee a little bit more. So we take the stretch down this right leg, down the back. So ever so slightly lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Feel that stretch down the hamstrings. So you can have the hands on the floor if that's easier for you, or shins or thighs is fine. Then soften that right knee, straighten the left leg, take the stretch into that left side. Down the back of the legs. Again, gentle lift with that tailbone. And then soften the left knees. From here we're going to bend into the knees. Come down onto the floor and into our shell stretch. So untucking the toes, resting the forehead on the floor, arms beside you. And we're going to gently engage those lower abdominals again. And we're going to uncurl the spine. So we're set back on our heels. And from there we're going to come out onto all fours. So we can have our wrists under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. We're going to make sure that we keep the head in line with the spine, so that we keep a nice length through the whole of the spine. We're not letting the head hang down, and we're not arching the head up. Okay, so looking just ahead of your fingertips on your mat. From there we're going to slide the shoulders away from the ears, so we've got a nice long neckline. And then we're going to tip and tilt the pelvis like we did when we were standing. And we want to find a midpoint, so we don't want the belly hanging towards the floor, and we don't want the back arching up towards the ceiling. So find that midpoint, so you've got a soft arch through the lower back. And from there we're going to gently connect those lower abdominals again. So gently pulling in. We're going to imagine that someone has slid a very full tray of drinks on our back now. We don't want anything to shift, so we don't want to start hunching or dropping, and we don't want to start moving side to side either. So the torso stays really still. And we're going to extend the opposite arm and leg away. So we're going to slide them away along the mat, keeping them in contact with the floor, and then drawing them back in. Remember, shoulders stay down away from the ears, even as you extend the arm in front of you. And you're really still through your centre, so using those lower abdominals to connect and help keep you nice and still. Slide the opposite arm and leg away, and then come back. Once you've found that you can maintain that lovely stability through your centre, we're going to start to extend the arm and leg a bit further. So you're going to keep them in contact with the floor, but you're going to really reach them away. Open out, and then come back in. Remember, we don't need to rush this, it can be nice and slow. It's about getting those stability muscles working. So you want to stay still as we can. Lengthen, 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 and then come back in. Now if you feel ready, you're going to lengthen out, take it as far as you can. Now you're going to squeeze that bottom and lift the leg. Making sure that as you lift, you don't drop the belly down. Keep it up. Get the leg to lift using your bottom. And then back. Again, switch sides. Lengthen first. Squeeze the bottom, lift without dropping your back. Get the leg as high as you can. And then come back in. Lengthen away. Squeeze the bottom. Get the leg up without dropping the back. And then come down. Again, don't rush. Lengthen first along the floor. Squeeze the bottom, lift the leg without dropping the back, and then coming back. We've got a few more like this. Shoulders down, remember, head in line with the spine. Good. The next time we lengthen out, we're going to squeeze and lift. Now if this is too much for you, you're going to bring the hand back underneath you. You've just got the leg lifting. Pull the toes back towards you. And then we're going to push the heel away and we're going to pulse the legs, so squeezing the bottom. Again, you're still balancing that tray drink, so don't let the belly drop or curl. We're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, really still through your centre, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the toes pulling back towards you. You're going to draw the knee in and then lengthen it out. In and out. Remember, you're trying to get the leg as high as possible using your bottom, not by dropping your back. So keep the leg high as it comes out. We've got 5, shoulders down, gently drawing those lower abdominals, push the heel away, last 2, 1, come back in. Switching legs. So remember, you can extend the arm as well if you'd like to. It makes the balance a little bit more challenging. Leaving the arm still and out, or you just bring it underneath you again. We're going to pull the toes back towards us, push the heel away, and then we pulse. Remember, keep the leg as high as possible without dropping into the back. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, shoulders down, 3, 2, 1, bend the knee in underneath you, extend and away, keep that heel pressing away, get the bottom as high as you, or the leg, sorry, as high as you can by squeezing the bottom, squeeze and in. And remember that tray of drinks is still balanced on your back, so the torso should be nice and still. We've got 5, 4, shoulders down, gently pull in those lower abs. Last 2, when we get that leg high. Don't drop the back. Come down from there. Leave your knees under your hips and just walk your hands forward. Forehead to the floor, just stretch out. Take some nice big breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. From there, just sliding down onto your side. Leave your arm underneath you, or if that's not comfortable for your shoulder, just grab a cushion and place that underneath your head. We're going to lengthen the legs out so that we're lined up with the side of the mat. We're going to push this top hip away so we come back to neutral. We're not slipping down towards the floor with the spine at a curve. So push the top hip away, spine nice and straight. That top leg, imagine I've got you by the ankle, I'm pulling it away and then I'm lifting it up. So you're nice and open across the front of the hip. Lower abdominals are gently engaged to keep the pelvis still, and we're going to circle that leg at hip height. So don't let it drop too low and don't let it come up so that you drop your waist either. Just hip height is fine. We're going to do 10 little circles in each direction, so don't make it too fast. Nice and slow and controlled, making sure the pelvis is still as you do this. Hand can be resting in front, front, but just keep the shoulder down, keep the fingertips light, or the hand is on the hip. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back the other way. Nice controlled circles. Remember, you don't want the pelvis moving around or the body, okay? Body is still, it's just the leg moving from the ball and socket joint in the hip. Gentle connection in the lower abs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that knee all the way in, rest it in front of you. Take that top arm out. We're going to do a big breath in, leaving this knee in contact with the floor. We're going to exhale, rotate through the rib cage, take the arm out. Inhale as it draws back. We've got 4 more. Exhale, open, rotate. Inhale and come back. Inhale back. Last ones. Exhale, rotate. Inhale back. This time bend both knees. We're going to push up onto our side and come down the other way. So take any cushions that you might be using with you. Same thing on this side. Slide out onto your side. Line yourself up with the front of your mat. From there, just extending that top bit, pushing it away so you've got a little lift in the underneath waist, but more importantly, the spine is going to be nice and straight. We're going to extend that top leg away and lift it up to hip height, making sure we've got that gentle engagement in the lower abdominals to keep the pelvis from moving around. And we're going to do our small, slow circles. Remember, the hand can be here as long as it's light and the shoulder isn't hunching. Otherwise, we've got the hand on the hip. Just feel for any movement there. Remember, you don't want to be moving around through the pelvis. Nice and controlled. We've got 5 more in this direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back the other way. Remember, nice and still, gentle connection in the lower abs, shoulder down. I know it's a lot to think about, it's good for the concentration just to focus on your body and what you're doing. So just keep scanning your mind down the body, shoulder down, gentle connection, pelvis still, leg moving. We've got 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Bring it up, bring that knee in, rest it in front of you, top arm out in front. We're going to exhale, rotate, open, inhale, come back. Remember, we're moving the arm, but you do want to get that rotation through the rib cage as well, not just the extension in the arm and shoulder. Good. 2 more. Exhale, open. Inhale, back. This time we're going to open out and stay out. We're going to bring the other arm down, bend the knees in, and then we're going to roll onto our backs. Leaving the arms out to the sides. We're going to set up into that neutral position again with the spine. So we're going to have our feet and knees hip distance apart. We're going to just slide the shoulders down away from the ears and tip and tilt the pelvis like we did standing and on all fours, just rolling it forwards and backwards, flattening the back and then arching it. And we're going to settle into that midpoint. So all of the upper back is in contact with the floor. The lower back, you just want a little lift in the lower back, not arching too far up, but just a small lift off the floor so that your hip bones and your pubic bone are on the same level. Okay. When you're there, we're going to start to do some hip rolls. So we're going to take both knees down to the left, head goes over to the right. Gentle connection in those lower abdominals is going to help pull you back. And then come to the other side. Rolling through. So always finding that nice neutral position in the centre, where you've got the little lift in the lower back, but the upper back is in contact with the floor. And you can stay with your feet flat, or if you want to make it a bit more challenging, just float your heels up so your toes are touching, but very lightly. And then the same thing. Just make sure if you've lifted the heels that you're still in that neutral position when you come through the centre. You're not flattening the back, you're not arching it. Good. Now we're going to start to extend the leg. So as we come down, we're going to extend the trailing leg away and then bring it back. Extend the leg and come back. Knees and legs are still hip distance apart. Don't let the knees come together. If you need to at any point, bring the heels back to the floor so the feet are flat. We've got 2 more. Remember, find that neutral position in the centre and then go the other way. Coming back. Sliding the arms down to your side, staying in that neutral position with a soft arch in the lower back, upper back in contact with the floor. Now we're going to try and maintain that position, so we don't want to shift and tip out of it. So imagine now that the tray of drinks is balanced on your tummy. If you start to flex your back or arch it, you're going to wobble the tray. So find that position. We're going to hold it by gently drawing in those lower abdominals. And then from there, we're going to pick one heel up off the mat. Keep that position through the pelvis, bring the knee up. Place the foot slowly back to the floor. So as you lift the heel, you'll feel that gentle connection just deepen slightly in the lower abdominals as you lift the leg up in order to maintain that position through your spine. So drawing the lower abs in, holding that position. If you find that that's difficult to be aware of what's going on in your spine, just put one hand beneath your lower back. And what you should feel is that the pressure through your hand is consistent. Okay, it's not increasing and it's not decreasing, and that way you know that you're not flattening or arching the lower back. Good. When you're ready, we're going to bring the leg up to tabletop, and then we're going to extend it away, lengthening it, bringing it back in, placing it down. Same on the other side, leg comes up, extend and away, come back, and then down. Same thing though, you don't want the back moving. So as you extend the leg away, make sure you don't arch your back and lift your rib cage. Keep nice and still. When you're ready, we're going to start to add in the opposite arm. So we lift the leg up, bring it to tabletop. Now as you extend the leg away, the opposite arm goes behind you without the rib cage lifting. Come back and bring it down. And the other side, lift up, extend and away, opposite arm behind you, rib cage staying down, come back and floor. Good. Lengthen, come back and bring it down. If you'd like to make this a bit more challenging, you're going to lift the heel on the supporting side, so the toes still touching the floor, but it's really light. Keeping the toes just touching when the heel's up. Going to mean it's a little bit harder to maintain that position through the spine, so you're going to work a little bit harder through those muscles in the lower abs. Good. When you're ready, we're going to start to add both arms. So before you go, you're going to bring both arms up over the chest, and this becomes the start position. Bring the leg up, extend both arms behind you as the leg goes away, comes back, place it down. Again, you can have the heels lifted and the toes very light on the floor, or you can stick with the feet flat. It's up to you. Just make sure that that lower back is still staying, hovering off the mat. The upper back is still staying in contact with the floor. Keeping the breath nice and even. Lower abdominals gently connected. Good. Last ones. Extend and away. Come back. Bring it down. Take the arms over behind you from there. Lengthen the legs away. Reach and stretch. From there, we're going to sweep the arms round to your sides, palms to ceiling. And just find that connection in the lower abdominals again. So gently press the upper back in contact with the floor, and just make sure the hip bones and the pubic bone are level again. So we've got a little lift in the lower back. Again, you want to maintain that position through the spine. We're going to lift the right leg up towards the ceiling and just take hold of it with the hands. Holding it there, we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to lower the leg and lift the other one up off the floor. Switching sides. Inhale. As you exhale, lower and lift. Inhale, lower as you exhale. Lift the other leg. If you want to make this more challenging, you're going to lift the leg before you've lowered the other one. Exhale and inhale to hold. Exhale as you switch. If you want to make it more challenging, don't let that other leg touch the floor. So keep it hovering up off the floor now. If you need it to touch down, that's fine, but try and keep it at a little hover. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. We're going to bend the knee on that side, rest the other leg on the floor and just pull this one into the chest and then release. As you pull it into the chest, flex the lower back into the mat and then release. Pull it in and then release. 2 more. Keep it into the chest now. Lower back pressing gently into the floor. We're going to point and flex on the other side. Point the toes, pull them back. From there, we're going to rest the ankle, lengthen out into a full body stretch. Big breath in. As you exhale, sweep the arms around, grab hold of the other knee, pull it into the chest, and then release. So remember, pulling it in, flattening the lower back into the mat, and then releasing it. Pulling it in and releasing. Keep the breath even, exhale, and then inhale as you release. Now pull it in, hug the knee, keep the knee in there. We're going to point and flex through the toes on the other side. Point, and then pull them back, flexing them towards you. Try and keep that leg as long as possible. It's like someone's pulling you by the ankle. And then you're going to bring that knee in, hug both knees into the chest, just rock gently from side to side. Then come to centre. We're going to take our nose to knees. So we're going to exhale, come up, nose to knees. Inhale and release. 2 more. Inhale, release. Last one. See if you can stay up this time and just gently rock side to side with the head and chest lifted. And then from there, putting the hands down beside you, just pushing up to seated. Come to a seated position that's comfortable for you. So I'm going to cross the legs, but by all means you can have your legs out straight or the soles of the feet together. Just somewhere you can sit nice and tall through the spine. So lifting the crown of the head. We're going to inhale, take the arms up and up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers, reach and stretch. And then exhale as you open wide. And again, big breath in. Reach and stretch. This time, exhale, take one hand to the floor, take the other arm over to stretch. Make sure this hip stays fixed to the floor. And then as you inhale the next time, come up, stretch and away. And then exhale, take it down the other side. Fix the hips to the floor. And then up, reach, arms wide. And roll those shoulders. I hope you've enjoyed that session. Please do get in contact with me if you'd like to do longer classes or if you'd like any more information about the classes that I run. Thanks very much.